Migrants detained in Texas sent an SOS message out of fear of being deported to El Salvador. This was on Monday. You might have seen this on social media. This group of Venezuelan migrants staged what's being called a desperate plea for help. In all, 31 men formed the letters SOS in the dirt yard of this detention center. Now, the men were nearly deported earlier this month before the Supreme Court came in and issued a temporary halt. NBC Boston's political commentator is here with us right now, Sue O'Connell. Sue, today a judge, I believe a Trump-appointed judge, we should point out, for the first time under the Trump administration, ruled that the president could not deport suspected gang members under the Alien Enemies Act. So why does the president even need to invoke the act to deport someone in the country illegally? Are these people not in the country illegally?
That's a great question, Colton. But look, and here's the thing. The judge was specifically ruling that Aliens Enemies Act not supposed to be used for anything else except dealing with an organized armed force entering the U.S., like if we were attacked by an army from a foreign government. But to your question, and this is the law. This is not my opinion. This is the law. Someone who enters illegally can be deported either by the expedited removal process. That means if they're caught within 100 miles of the border and have been here less than 2 years without asking for asylum or protected status, or if they've been here and don't meet those qualifications after due process, a constitutional right that applies to everyone in the U.S., not just citizens, because that's what the United States Constitution says.
Well, ICE has been taking people into custody at courthouses, something that many judges are demanding to be stopped. What's the move here? Why is that?
All right, so think about these scenarios. You're a crime victim, and the only witness to your crime is an undocumented person. Or there are violent attacks in your neighborhood and some of the victims are undocumented, or an undocumented woman is suffering from domestic violence. Now, what if those people are afraid to go to courthouses, either as witnesses, victims, or defendants? That would ultimately threaten all of our public safety. And remember, multiple studies since 1870 say undocumented immigration does not increase violent crime.
Yeah, there's a lot of studies on all this. Before we let you go here, I want to ask you a question about Ukraine. Earlier today, the U.S. and Ukraine, they signed a minerals deal. We have heard so much about this, the back and forth between Zelensky and the president. We saw what happened in the White House. What is that? And does it have anything to do with the war possibly ending in Ukraine between Russia?
Right. All right. So I want to recognize that there is both a human toll of war on all sides, and there are financial costs. And as the Russia-Ukraine conflict continues on here, some governments are seeking compensation for the assets in exchange for their support. So what does Ukraine have to offer us for how we've been helping them? Minerals. Now, this isn't new. The U.S. has historically received military bases, access to markets, and guarantees that people are going to buy weapons from us. Those type of commitments from countries that we have supported. Now, this deal does indeed help Ukraine, but I'm not sure that it helps end the war right now, Colton.
All right, Sue, as always, we thank you for jumping on the news at 4.
You're welcome.